shine on the light. We all over the world, Chad Night Africa. We all over the world, Chad Night Africa. Welcome to Chad Night, we bring you good vibe, we shine on the light. Welcome to Chad Night, we bring you good vibe, we shine on the light. We all over the world, Chad Night Africa. We all over the world, Chad Night Africa. Welcome to Chad Night, the only place that we give you good vibe. Chad Night Africa.
Chad Night Africa, let's gang up, change mindset, and empower Africans. Are you ready? Africa to the world.
And now, live from the headquarters of Chad Night Africa, Divine Shanaka.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Voices of Africa at Chad Night Africa. We're glad to have you on the show again this week. They accepted my invitation knowing that this platform isn't our friendly territory. Friendly terrain or not, you are about to watch members of the finest fighting force on the planet. We will be talking about a lot of things. Stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, join me now in welcoming the president of the Cameroon American military personnel, Mr. or rather Major Thierry Fwapon. This is Thierry on the platform.
Good afternoon, Divine. Good afternoon to all the telespectators. I am Major Fwapon. I am a member of the U.S. military, and I am.
Shift a little bit to the right, sir. Beautiful, beautiful. Again, introduce yourself again, sir.
Major Thierry Fwapon. I'm a member of the U.S. military. I'm also the president of the Cameroon American Military Professionals Organization.
Thank you, sir. And now we bring the next guests on the platform. That is the Secretary General of the Cameroon American Military Professionals. That is Mr. Roger Mbianda. Join me now in welcoming Roger on the platform.
Thank you very much, Mr. Divine, and thank you for having us on this platform.
Thank you, sir. We're glad to have you at Chad Night Africa on Voices of Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, here now is the Public Relations Officer, Mr. Baron, and here we go. Hello, Baron.
Hi, Divine. Thank you very much. It's a privilege and an honor to be on this platform. My name is Baron A. Osong. I'm the Public Relations Officer for the Cameroon American Military Personnel, and I'm also a member of the United States Army Reserve.
Thank you, sir. As protocol demands, you guys respect protocol rigorously in the Army or in the military, so to speak. I will start my questioning with the Major Thierry Fwapon. He will take the first question. We will be talking a lot about the U.S. military, the outreach of your association and other things. I can tell the audience one thing. This is going to be an exhilarating and instructive discussion at the same time. Major, you are of African descent. As I introduced, you are the president of the Cameroon American Military Professionals Association. In other words, before being a citizen of the United States, you are of Cameroonian descent. You, when you wear the uniform and carry a gun, you have or you exercise enormous powers over the other citizens who don't. You are a human being like other human beings, and human beings tend to abuse power. What is it, Major, that holds you back from abusing the enormous power that you have carrying the gun and wearing the uniform of the armed forces of the United States?
Thank you, Divine. That's a very interesting question. First of all, I'm from African descent, like you mentioned, and the fact that I'm from African descent and a member of the U.S. military show you that it's a diversity. And I would tell you, for me, wearing the gun and my personal experience, wearing the uniform and carrying the gun, doesn't reflect. It doesn't reflect, abuse of power. No, that's what it reflects. We are in our organization, which is the Cameroon American Military Professional. All of us are serving the United States military, and some of us are already retired. But the training that we receive, we are trained to serve the people of the United States. So serving the people, well, it's what we do. So wearing the uniform and carrying the gun, it's not a reflection of abuse of power for us. It's a way to we use those against the enemy of the United States, not against the U.S. citizen, because our primary mission is to serve them and live the Abi values.
You are watching Voices of Africa at Chat Night Africa, and today on the program are executive members of the Cameroon Military Association Professionals Association. We have the Major, who is the president of the association. By the way, anybody who is not on Facebook can watch this show right now on chatnightafrica.net. Again, the show is being streamed live on chatnightafrica.net. Thank you, Major. I'm going to bring on the platform the public relations officer. That is Mr. Baron Oson. Hello, Baron. Welcome once again on the platform of Chat Night Africa.
Thank you very much, Divine. I appreciate you.
I'm going to ask you the same question I asked your president. You wear the uniform of the armed forces of the United States. You carry a gun. That is enormous power that the government of the United States has bestowed on you. Citizens of the United States do not enjoy the same privileges and power. What is it that holds you behind from or restrains you from abusing the power that the government of the United States gives you?
Well, thank you for that question. I'll go in the same line like my president, Major Farpon, already said. The gun, the weapon is not just given to you, right? It's given to you after you've been well trained, and that training in itself ensures that you cannot misuse the power. And we don't just serve from the blues. We serve the finest. We serve in the finest force, and that goes to say that you are held accountable for any abuse of power, or any mishap, or any wrongdoings. And as such, knowing that the authorities enforce these rules and these policies, we do our best to uphold the policies and ensure that the oath that we take to serve is actually enforced.
Thank you, Mr. Public Relations Officer. I will now bring on the platform the Secretary General of the association. That's the Cameroon American Military Professionals Association. That is Mr. Thierry Mbianda. Thierry, you are of Cameroonian descent. How does it feel like being member of the finest fighting force this planet has ever known?
Thank you very much. By the way, the name is Roger. Thierry is the Major. I am Roger Kichawa Mbianda. And to answer the question, it's a pride to be serving the best fighting force in the world. It's a pride. Some people think that being in the military makes you invincible. That is not true. Calling it the finest, the strongest, doesn't make anyone take up arms and start abusing the rights they have been given. Going back to the question you asked, the Major and Baron, I do not personally believe that the gun gives anyone power. Anyone who gains power gains it only when they must have worked for it. There is something we call the Army values. We have loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. When I read those things to you, I didn't mention anything that had to do with the gun or power. That is what we live by. And so we make sure that we live by those and be able to portray the United States in that power that it has, not necessarily with the power of the gun.
You are watching Voices of Africa at Chat Night, and you are having these fine gentlemen, sharing ideas, and we have some, I would say, controversial questions. And I told you they accepted my invitation, knowing that the platform is not so friendly territory, but being members of the finest force, that's not what they're worried about. Let me now, at this point, bring on the president of the association, Major Thierry Fouapon. Major Thierry Fouapon once more on the platform. Major, you have, from a distance, seen the way African militaries behave towards citizens. When you see that, that seems to go in contrast to the way that you behave towards citizens of the United States. In other words, when people in Africa see members of their militaries, they are running away for safety. In the United States, citizens run to you people. If I'm in trouble and I see you, I run to you, not run away from you. What do you think accounts for this, sir?
Thank you, Divine. Interesting question, one more. And I want to say, I didn't get it's a privilege for me to be a member of the United States military, and that's the only military I know. Our training and our doctrine, our rules and regulation, it's, give us enough guidance to treat, the American citizen the way we treat them. I mean, we wore the uniform for them. We wore the uniform to serve them. Like I said in the beginning, I don't have experience with other African military, so I won't be able to speak for them. But I can tell you that in the U.S. military, we serve U.S. citizen. We are trained to treat them well, and that's the same. And that's the reason why we came into this organization, into camp. To continue to that doctrine, to continue to make sure that our member follow those rules and regulations that the United States military provided. So really, it's going to be very difficult for me to speak for army that I don't believe.
I get your point, sir. You are the president of the Cameroon American Military Professionals Association here in the United States. Why did you think you needed to form an association? Was it that something was not being taken care of in the U.S. military that you needed to band together as brothers to have that addressed? Or what drove the decision to form a Cameroon American Military Professionals Association, sir?
Thank you, Divine. A very good question, and I cannot answer this question without talking about our founders, which are Major Ngante, which is Major Army retired, and Captain Colin Sakwa, who had this bright idea to bring together U.S. military personnel of Cameroon origin. So we share the same heritage, and because of that reason, we have a lot in common. And going from Cameroon, coming to in the U.S., it's not easy. There is a change of culture, and we are joining the most the most important fighting force in the world. So there are a lot of culture and tradition that are different from from where we came from. So for us, being the leader of this organization, we are here to mentor and guide all those, U.S. military personnel of Cameroon origin. That was the reason behind, sharing heritage and our culture, but also making sure that those who are coming here and who are joining the military, who are privileged to join the U.S. military, kind of, have the information that's required to be able to advance in their career and to be able to, take care of others after them. So that's the reason why we came in, we formed this organization.
And Major, you can understand that if the United States military is the best fighting force on the planet, it's definitely a point of attraction for those who want to join. So along the line, I'll be asking one of your collaborators to explain to us how you get to joining the U.S. Armed Forces. This is Chat Night Africa. We will be right back. Stay tuned. Voices of Africa at Chat Night Africa. Today we are receiving members of the best fighting force this world has ever known. I'm talking about the U.S. military, the U.S. Armed Forces. We have the president of the Cameroon American Military Professionals Association, that's Major Thierry Fwapon. We have Roger Mbianda, who is the Secretary General. We have the Public Relations Officer, Baron Osson. I'm going to bring up now the Secretary General to explain to us how you get to becoming a member of this enviable military force on the planet. There are people who look at you and sometimes, honestly, it feels like you're falling from the skies. One remarkable thing about you members of the U.S. Armed Forces is your humility. As I said earlier on, when people find themselves in trouble, if a U.S. citizen were moving on the street and saw you and had trouble, they're running to you, not running from you. Tell me, before you explain, Roger, how somebody gets to joining this beautiful fighting force, tell me, when you joined the military, What drove that decision? And how does that change you from who you were and who you now are?
That is a multifaceted question. First of all, I would always start by saying I am privileged to be in the U.S. Army because that is the branch I am in. When I joined, my motivation was not necessarily to serve a country, but rather because I thought it was a job I was going to get. But as soon as I got in, I realized that it was something I would really love to do. Now, talking about what you have to be able to join, first of all, is the volition to join, because like when anybody thinks about the armed forces, they're thinking about weapons, they're thinking about fighting, they're thinking about going to war. But when you know that the armed forces is actually a word of its own, where you have different job descriptions, and not necessarily have to do with the gun all the time, you would feel comfortable being part of that. And you said something interesting about people running to the armed force instead of running away from them. Like I said, the training itself is anchored around loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. If you know the specific definitions of this word and these things are kind of woven around you, there is just no way you would not get into a thing like this. A lot of people admire the fact we are in the military, and I think just anybody can do it. You just need to have the volition and pass a simple exam that is given to you to take, have that courage to join, and you will be part of this amazing job we do.
When you chose to join the U.S. military, and I'm going to ask the same question to your other colleagues. When you chose to join the U.S. military, typically when you tell other people to join, they say, oh, no, you guys are going to fight wars. It's risky, death. How is it that the image of death did not scare you?
I was able to put one and one together. For instance, the number of people who die every day from road accidents is a lot more than the number of people who die at war, who die fighting. And so if you take just that one example, you would know that there is something that the public might not know about as far as the military is concerned. So I was not so much concerned about dying, because I know, for example, from my research, that there are a lot of jobs that you can get in there. For instance, I am a horizontal engineer in the Army, and you can have any other job you can be. You can even be a physician in the Army, like you would hear from my brothers talk to you about that in a moment.
You are watching Chat Night Africa, Voices of Africa at Chat Night. My name is Divine Chamukong. I am anchoring this broadcast from Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. At this point, we bring on the, thank you, studio audience, thank you. At this point, we bring on the Public Relations Officer for the Cameroon American Military Professionals Association, Mr. Baron Olson. Again, thank you, sir, for accepting to come on Voices of Africa. Tell me, why should any parent advise or encourage his son or his daughter to join the armed forces of the United States?
Well, thank you, Divine. So my colleague, Roger, highlighted a few aspects of what the military embodies. And I believe that if you have all these values that the military encourages, especially the 7 army values that he listed, I don't see why you wouldn't want to serve in such a place as long as you meet other requirements that any recruiter will be able to let you know what requirements are there for what specific branch of the military you're trying to serve. But most importantly, I see this, and Roger also touched on it, as a place where you can showcase your own talents, your abilities, right? And so if you have certain talents, the parent should be able to advise that child to bring the talent into the force and showcase his talent, where it's not just doing that simple thing, but you're doing it for the service of the country. So basically, any job that you may have in the civilian world is able to be gotten in the or to be done in the army. And so if you can do that job in the civilian world, it's even of a higher calling and of higher honor and privilege to do that same job in the military with that additional military training.
Are there certain things which, when you got into the military, you were like, I mean, you in hindsight, you look back and say, oops, I'm losing these liberties. What are the liberties that you don't enjoy when you are in the US military, which ordinary you would enjoy when you are a ordinary civilian?
Well, that's a very good question. It's actually hard to compare one thing. At this point, I'm not really sure exactly what I'll be losing as a civilian, because I joined the US military when I was just about 7 months in the United States. So I was pretty much very young here, and in terms of being in the United States. And so it is now hard to compare the things that I would have been missing. But I tell you, I don't regret one bit for joining the military. I have been in the service for over 13 years, and my hope and my dream is to take it through for over 20 years. Because honestly, there is nothing that I miss, and I don't regret that decision of joining. I don't see me losing anything per se for joining. If anything, I think that value has been added to my life for joining the service. So to be honest with you, it's hard to really put a finger on something that I think I'm missing now for joining the military.
Thank you, studio audience. Now we bring back the president of the Cameroon American Military Professionals Association, Major Thierry Fwapon. The question I have for you, Major, Major, I'm not sure why you did not come on, but I will very quickly switch over to the next guest. You may have to exit and come right back on, because it looks like we're having trouble having you on the platform. Okay, it'll be, yeah, are we good now? Okay, very, very good. This is Chat Night. Let me bring up back the Secretary General of the okay, very good. We have you back on the platform. Tell me, what are some of the activities of the Cameroon American Military Professionals Association? What's your outreach? I got to understand that you do a lot more things than just wearing the uniform.
Yes, like the Major told you already, when you find yourself in a place like this one from another region, there is usually that necessity to come together and share some of the values that we have as one. And so top on the priority, the objectives of the association we have to assist each other to succeed as individuals, It's a social platform for camaraderie and shared health. We use it to reduce strife in our region of origin through humanitarian outreach. We also provide mentorship to current and would-be members of the profession. We also foster community-based activities in support of service members. I would like to mention that before being a military person, you are first of all a civilian, and there is that that truth that you would at some point exit being a military person into a civilian life. And so this platform gives an opportunity for us to bring in resource persons who have been there and done it to show us how to transition from the military to the civilian life. And so these are some of the things we do. I think Major would have a lot more to tell you.
Yes, Major, you want to add to what he just said?
Absolutely, Divine.
And by the way, before you go on, Major, the phone line is open if you want to ask these members of the finest fighting force of the planet. The phone line is open. You can call us at 240-603-7367, 240-603-7367. Yes, Major, go ahead.
Thank you, Divine. I would like to say, Roger can give you the textbook of what we do as the Cameroon American military professional. And what I would like to add is, I said, the U.S. military train talent. So within our organization, we have a lot of talent. So whether it's a power service member or people who are still active, so we use those talent to be able to build other member who are joining us. So, and that's why we are. That's who we are. So we use ourselves to train others, and not only our members, but we also provide support to to our country of origin. Those are part of the activities that we do. When the pandemic hit, we provide about 7,000 face masks to hospital in Cameroon, to 5 hospitals in Cameroon. That's what we did. We also provide support during about 2 years ago. We provide some support to displaced people in Cameroon as well. So we take care of our own, but we also take care of our country of origin.
This is Chat Night Africa, and you are watching Voices of Africa. The phone line is open. It looks like I am having somebody on the line. Let me see if I can reach him. My name is Divine Charamukong. Our guests this week are members of the finest fighting force on the planet, the Cameroon American Military Professional Association. We have somebody on the line. This is Chat Night Africa. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Hey, Divine, good evening. This is Major Diashe Gante, retired. I'm happy to join you.
Oh, that's wonderful, Major Ngante and Diashe Ngante. We're glad to have you live on the show. The question I'm going to ask you, sir, is when you look back, when you look across the militaries of Africa and look at your time of service in the United States Armed Forces, are there things you watch that cause you to raise your eyebrows?
So, hey, first of all, Divine, let me just join you and congratulate these gentlemen who are remarkable leaders on their own and have taken the big and important duty to lead CAM. President Thierry Forpan, Secretary General Roger Bianda, and Baron Osong. Those are remarkable individuals. And the thing I want to throw real quick before I answer the question is that these individuals, these leaders, are focused on this. Why we're here is to help the rest of our community understand that the military is like the best way for migrants to integrate into the American society. Is the best and the easiest way. It helps provide purpose, direction, and constraint to especially youths so that they can get into the American system and develop themselves quickly and shed away all the distractions that we often see youth get into and get wayward. So that said, let me answer your question. There are so many things that, you know, by way of impression, you will say, the military probably didn't do it well or so, but that's not true. That's just impression. But when I look back, all I look back in the military is just awe. I'm awe-inspired at what it can turn a civilian, an individual into. I've seen during my initial encounters in the military, you know, you pick an individual, a group of individuals, we show up in a day one in training and we all ragged it and we have some very badly behaved children, badly behaved youth. But after 8 weeks of training, they flip these youths around into those who were answering like, hey, dude, what's up? Then now they start answering, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, and they are orderly, structured, and they start believing in themselves. That's the biggest thing. These individuals start to believe in themselves. That's what the American society has been benefiting from, their society, their citizens participating in the military. And I'm asking us, Africans, immigrants, and every other people who are coming into the United States new or who are thinking of ways to get ahead as part of this United States system, to think about the military as an option, actually a good option. It gives you that ability to constrain an individual and give them this good direction, give them purpose and limitations to what they can do, and they allow the individual to develop perfectly. So, I mean, I like to talk a lot about the military, but I know we have
Major Ngante, before you go, Major Ngante, before you drop off the line, the truth of the matter is, I mean, even the generals, the colonels, and so on in the U.S. military, they are very humble people. These are people with enormous power, and it doesn't seem to be the same in Africa. You colonel in Africa, in an African military, you like a king of kings. What is it what is it in your training as soldiers, members of the U.S. Armed Forces, that makes you so humble? What is it? Why is that?
Okay, I like that question, Divine. The thing is that there is power. There's no doubt there is power which is derived from some legitimate source by people who hold the ability to apply deadly force. So you have this thing called the authorized, in the U.S. United States military, you have the authorized, the use of the AUAF, the use of force, authorization to use force in anything. It's derived from the Congress, from the people. So the people have to tell you that we now authorize you to go and apply force to achieve a goal that is supportive of the United States priorities. That's different. Like in most of our African or third world developing countries context, they use the force the military force as a way to gain power instead of using the military force as the way to exercise power given to them by the people. And that's the difference. And throughout your military training in the United States, that would come up every day. So it emphasizes every day that you do not have the authority to, by the way, you have a gun, but you do not have the authority to kill somebody without, it's called self-defense or protecting the property or personnel under your charge. So that's the think about it. The reason that everybody is given a weapon in the military is to defend yourself, defend the property, and the people put under your protection. If you think about it that way, every training we go through is geared around that. So your power and the ability or your authorization to use that force comes from the people. That legitimacy is what is missing when you look at other Africans or other developing countries. They don't understand the source of that power. That is the legitimate source of power is the people. They give you the power and they can take it away.
Okay, it looks like you got off the line. Anyway, we got the essentials of your statements. Major Ndiashi Ngante. Now we come back on the platform to talk to our guests. Thank you, by the way. Thank you, studio audience. You are watching Voices of Africa at Chat Night Africa. My name is Divine Chamukong. We are broadcasting live this show, like all of our shows, on the website www.chatnightafrica.net. You can go ahead also and share this broadcast. The question I have for maybe the president, and then because you know this is not a military program, but I have to respect the protocols of the ministry of the military, the discipline of the military. That's why I'll go up to the president, Major Thierry Fapon first, and then come back to the other members of the panel. Major, we hear about the Marine Corps, we hear about special forces. Would you please lecture us, teach us what is the different? What are the different branches of the U.S. military, and what are their responsibilities? I mean, if you want to elaborate in that area, and if the other members would like to also come in, chime in, that's fine on the same question. Yes, Mr. President.
Thank you, Divine. Very interesting question. I am the member of the U.S. Army, and within the U.S. military, you have the U.S. Army, you have the U.S. Air Force, you have the Marine Corps. We talk about you have the Navy, and so those are the forces. And now recently, as of last year, we also have the Space Forces that was created by our former president. So those are the forces that we have. And within those, I mean, in the U.S. Army, you have special forces. So I want to say I'm not well diverse into those specific job when it comes to special forces, for example. So I'm a medical guy, so.
All right. Thank you, Mr. President. We will bring up at this point the Public Relations Officer, Mr. Baron Awesome. Baron.
Yes, sir.
One of the phenomenal missions that the U.S. Armed Forces carried out was the raid and capture, killing of Osama bin Laden. In a mission like that, what section of the military is assigned it, and why?
Well, thank you, Divine. It's I think you're asking the question that is way over here as far as my pay grade is concerned. As a non-commissioned officer, I don't deal with the policy aspects of it or the directives of it. I enforce the policies that are given. But in my small knowledge, as far as that is concerned, is that missions are very different from each other. You know, so different missions require different techniques or different tactics or different personnel to be sent on that mission, right? So if you look at the various missions that have happened, that have been declassified or that the public is aware of, you realize that different people have handled different kind of missions, different branches have handled different kinds of missions. And so I don't believe that there is a specific textbook that says that this type of mission must only be handled
and we have
by such
somebody
person.
on the line. Hello, this is Chat Night Africa, Voices of Africa. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. My name is Negme de la Rivière, and I just have a few questions for the panel.
Yes, please.
So my first question is, how do you become a UA officer? I overheard somebody said non-commissioned officer and officer. How do you become a big shot like a major in the U.S. Army? Can you get covered with the path? And the second thing, when you left your country, Cameroon, were you afraid of holding a weapon, and how did you got so comfortable to get to the point that you can hold that weapon and walk around with it? And thank you guys for explaining. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Mary May. Since I'm on the screen, I want to to go first so that I don't get to come.
Go ahead, please.
Go,
yes, go ahead.
All right. So let me begin with the first question: how to become a commissioned officer. So I'm going to answer the question in the context of the U.S. Army. In the U.S. Army, we have three different main categories. You have the enlisted, which is made up of the younger soldiers and the non-commissioned officers. And then you have warrant officers and commissioned officers. And each of these sectors have their own requirements and responsibilities. Some people may have those requirements to become commissioned officers, but would choose to serve as non-commissioned officers or remain as non-commissioned officers. The best way is always, if you ask anybody, they'll say the best way to do is talking to a recruiter who will give you the detailed process and everything you need to be able to join. But one of the basic things to become a commissioned officer, as far as I know, is at this moment is to have at least a bachelor's degree, and also to be under the age of, I believe, is there are three different ways of joining. And GoArmy.com is a website that can also elaborate on these things. Again, the website is GoArmy.com. That website gives you details on the various paths of becoming a commissioned officer. You have either going to school, if you don't have that degree and you choose to go to school after high school, or you go back to do your either bachelor's or another master's or whatever the case may be. You can choose now to do what is called the ROTC, which is the Reserve Officer Training Corps, where you can now commission after you graduate from school. So you earn your degree that the Army helps you to get, and then you get your commissioning to become a commissioned officer as a second lieutenant. And then you climb the ranks as time goes on, as you serve. And as years go by, you climb the ranks until you become big shots like Major Fwapon and Major Retired Nganti. And there's also the Warrant Officer Corps, where mostly non-commissioned officers, after serving in the military on the enlisted side, decide to, utilize their talent to become the subject matter expert in the specific fields or in the respective field that they are, to become warrant officers. And then, of course, the one that most of us know from the onset is the enlisted side, which is what myself and Roger came through. And we climbing up the ranks from, personally, I went from private up to now being a staff sergeant as a non-commissioned officer. So I don't know if that give an idea.
I think it does. We'll also have Roger Mbianda maybe up to, if he has anything to add. But before that's done, here is what Geraldine Chair Mulu says. I agree, third world countries or developing countries do not understand that their power is given by the people, and this same power can be taken away. They use their power to bully citizens. And as I said, Roger, that's exactly the opposite of you guys in the U.S. military. I mean, each time I meet you guys in the streets, in the banks, you don't behave like you have that power.
And that's exactly why they say the U.S. Armed Force is the strongest on earth. It's because of that humility and those qualities we're talking about. I am not sure that any other army in the world that behaves in the way people do not like are referred to as great people, as a powerful group of people. In fact, it's the opposite. And coming back to the question about the difference between an enlisted and an officer and how do you get from one rank to the other, it comes joining the military. First of all, I said before, you're required to have at least a high school certificate, and there you can be an enlisted. But for you to join the officer, to be an officer, you are required to have at least a degree. There are other pathways to become officers as far as the Army is concerned. I don't know specifically how to get up the ranks of the other branches of the military. But like Baron said, there are websites. It's available. You can just go on Google and you will be able to get that information at your fingertips.
My phone line is still open. Chat Night Africa, Voices of Africa at Chat Night Africa. I just got a text from, now you can dial the number 240-603-7367. Repeat 240-603-7367. You can also share this broadcast so that people can. Now we have a YouTube channel, we have a website, and when you go on that website, there's so much information. It's one of the best websites you would have seen. It is designed beautifully. It has so much information. Go to chatnightafrica.net and you will be blown away. I am on the platform with the Secretary General of the Cameroon American Military Professionals Association here, of course, in the United States. Now, somebody's just texting me, which branch of the service do you think is the best? Mr. Mbianda.
If I thought that the army to which I belong is not the best, I would have been moving right now to join the very good one. This is not to make fun of the other branches of the military. I think they are equally important in their different respects. Each branch has its strength. They have their jobs. They have the different things that they do. For example, Air Force, for instance, deals mostly with air mission. The Army with the land. You have the Navy deals with the land, water, and air missions. So you would realize that it could be the Marines, but you would hear people think of the Marine because Marine has to do with maybe water. They think that the Marine has to be in water. You can find them in the air depending on what specific missions they are assigned to do. It's a word, the military is a word of its own, and until you are in there, you won't be able to understand these differences.
Are there things which in the military you will not do, which you can only do when you are retired? When you're out of the military? If yes, what? Like what, for example?
I think if there is anything you can't do in the military, you should not do as a civilian. That is to say that those values that are given to us, that are kind of endowed, buried in us as military men, if you transition with those values into your civilian life, you would be living the best life. So I don't see anything you not do as a military person, but you're allowed to do as a civilian.
At this point, I'm bringing up the president of the Cameroon American Association, Military Professionals Association. That's Major Thierry Fouapon. We hear a lot of suicides, veterans committing suicide at the rate of 22 per day. What is happening? If this is the situation, you have a hard time, sir, or sirs, convincing someone to get into the U.S. military?
Thank you, Divine. That's a very good question. Talking suicide in the U.S. military, I mean, it's real, it's there, and I think the Army has a great team of people working, to make sure that we're taken care of. So, unfortunately, yeah, we have a few people who are not lucky enough to be able to to stay. I mean, they have. It's a very sad topic, I would say, but it's unreal. But I would tell you, within our organization, we do everything we can. We do everything we can. We reach out to our members. So, because at the end of the day, we are human beings, right? We sometimes we face tough situations, but within Cameroon American military professional, we always make sure we reach out, to our own, to make sure that, if there is anything we can do to provide that help people need, we do so. And that's our way to, to make sure that, we are doing our part when it comes to suicide. So we look over each other. We look over our brother and sister to make sure everybody is good to go. And that's something we do on a daily basis within the organization.
Thank you, sir. I will bring up the public relations officer to join us on the platform. We will look a bit more on the activities of your association, that's the Cameroon American Military Professionals Association. Let's talk about camp activities. The camp activities, that's the Cameroon American Military Professionals Association. That's the abbreviation CAMP. How does it relate? How do your activities actually relate? Why should the public care about your association?
Okay, thank you, Divine. I think Major Farpon touched a little bit on this when he talked about our involvement with the community out there. So we don't only interact amongst ourselves, right? In as much as we ensure that we take care of our own, we look out for each other, look after each other. We support. In fact, our motto is support and service for life. So the service and the support is not just limited to members of camp, right? It's extended to the community. So we carry out community events, which serves mostly the community. So we do these free events for the community. Unfortunately, COVID hit us so hard this time around that community events were not very active in the past several months, over 12 months now. But prior to that, we're engaging with the communities by going to some local places and organizing events where we help certain members of the community. So we do this without any charges, right? Members volunteer their time and service to go out to serve the population. In addition to that, we also try to support the communities by giving products. For example, giving face masks during the pandemic, and hand sanitizers back to Cameroon to several citizens who might have otherwise not had these things at the time that we gave to them. And so these are some of the aspects of it. But beyond that, thank you. Beyond that, we also try to look out for each other. And so we encourage every person who is a member of the military in the United States who is of Cameroonian descent to ensure that they're part of camp, because this is how we can ensure that we're able to account for each other. Thank you.
Thank you. I will bring up Roger to answer one or two questions about volunteering, which quite honestly I find very, very interesting. Roger, people of African descent back home, volunteering isn't something which people are wont or prone, if you want, prone to doing. What is it? If you stood in front of African kids in Ghana, we have people watching the show in Ghana. Mr. Foster Bogre Iembel is telling me that he is watching with a group of friends in Ghana. If you sat in front of people in Ghana, in Limbe, Malawi, in Limbe, Cameroon, in Rwanda, in Algeria, Nigeria, what are you going to tell them? What values have you harvested in the US military, which you think youths of Africa, across Africa, could actually emulate to make their lives better, or make themselves better, or change the societies in which they live?
Right, very good question. That is a summary of what humanity is all about. We are called service members, and we are not called service members for just no reason. We are called service members because we cannot be paid enough for the things that we do. And that should be the case with everybody. It is an honorable thing to volunteer. It's an honorable thing to serve humanity. Wherever you have the possibility to serve a human being, go ahead and serve and serve that human being without necessarily waiting for any pay. We're not waiting for anybody to pay you, because you can never be paid enough for giving your service to humanity. And so we should not, whatever part of the world you are in, you should not serve somebody waiting to get paid. That is a value I have learned from the Army. And I just would not wait to impart that to anybody that I have the opportunity to talk to.
Can I ask you a personal question, sir?
Go ahead.
You married, I guess?
Yes, I am.
When the soldier Roger Mbianda returns home, what does the wife see? Soldier? Does it influence the way you interact at home with your friends?
This is going to be funny. When I joined the Army, I was a little slow physically. I couldn't tell that I could run. I didn't know that I could run as fast as I do right now. And when I walk even faster because of the Army. So when I am home, I don't think there is any difference between the soldier and the civilian Roger. I try as much as possible not to get that way of my family. It is true that because of the loyalty, the duty, the respect that I talked about, there's a little bit of strictness that comes with the training that we have. Everything has to be in some kind of order. And because of that, you are sometimes looked upon as somebody who is just too strict for the liking of the people around you.
You must have a hard time interacting with people then.
It's actually a happy thing, because at the end of the day, I think I am doing just the right thing. I'll be able to sway people my way, because being orderly is just everybody wants around them. Just a matter of getting used to it.
This is Chat Night Africa, and we having members of the Cameroon American Military Professionals Association. Tell me a little bit about the conference coming up, sir.
Yeah, so we usually have annual conferences since the creation of CAM. And come November 12th and 13th, we are having our annual conference. It's going to take place in Texas, in Killeen, Texas. And we are calling on the community to join us, not only the military community, but the family of service members and anybody who really wants to join us in that event. You asked a question about suicide. One of the causes, one of the signs of suicide is loneliness. Some people get very lonely even in a crowd. This gives us an opportunity to get people involved and talk to them so that they can forget about the tendency of putting their own lives away. So this is an opportunity for us to come together and commune as Cameroonians in the military, and us too.
I'll be asking for your last word in just a moment. We will be right back. You are watching Chat Night Africa from Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. Africa from Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. If you are celebrating your marriage, you're having a marriage anniversary, let us know at Chat Night Africa. We do not discriminate. It doesn't matter your nationality. Let us know what chat. Lots of you, by the way, can reach me via Messenger, WhatsApp, Facebook, all kinds of stuff. You can reach me. If you're celebrating a birthday, please let us know. We'll be glad to get you do a little video to celebrate you on Voices of Africa at Chat Night. Before we go, we will invite our guests to come on the platform and share their last thoughts on the show. Here is Mr. Roger Mbianda, who is the Secretary General of the Cameroon American Military Personnel Professionals Association. Roger, what's your last word, sir?
First of all, Divine, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to talk to the public about what camp is all about. It's an amazing opportunity, and I wouldn't leave this platform without thanking the founders of this association that gave us the opportunity to meet the hundreds of people of Cameroonian descent who have come together and found a new home and have decided to serve this nation. We want to thank them so much, and we want them to keep that same collaboration, that collaborative spirit that they have. I also want to thank my dear wife and my kids for being so supportive during this time of service. I can't thank them enough. Thank you.
I'm not sure I'll do this right, but I know this is the tradition in the military. Thank you for your service.
Thank you so much.
By the way, Roger, you look like a king this evening, not like a soldier.
That is what makes us very diverse.
Well, I have a song. This is going to surprise all of you a little bit. We used to be asked to sing this song way back in the primary school, many years back. I remember when I was a soldier. I remember when I was a soldier. I remember when I was a soldier. I remember
when I was a soldier.
Do you guys sing in the military?
Actually, we do a lot of singing in the military, and I actually used this song during one of our trainings, marching practice, and they were so thrilled.
Oh, for real?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, brother, and thank you for your service. Thank you.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you, sir. And time now, I bring up the public relations officer of the Cameroon American Military Association. I'm not sure. Well, you're going to have to probably exit out and come back again. Okay. Exit and come back again, Baron. I'm not sure why you did not come on. This is I'll give you a few minutes to do that. This is Chat Night Africa, and we are about to wrap up on the show today. I hope that you enjoyed yourselves. I was trying to sing right there. So we're waiting for Mr. Baron to come back in for his last thoughts. As we wait, I want to inform you that we have a brand new website, chatnightafrica.net. I now have Mr. Baron Osong. Welcome back on the platform, Baron.
Thank you very much, Divine.
Yes. What are your last words, sir?
Well, my last words would be those of appreciation. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude for having camp on this platform. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I would like to use this platform to also thank my wife, Amma, and my kids, Jesse, Daniel, and Baron Jr., for all the support that they give me while serving in the military, because when I serve, they also serve, and And so I thank them for the support. And I want to give a shout out to my father, who is actually visiting with us, Sir Daniel Osong. I'll give a shout out to him. But most importantly, I want to thank all the members of the Cameroon American Military Professional Association for being committed to this great organization and for ensuring that the camp is standing the test of time up till now. And most importantly, to the founders for keeping the vision alive and being able to transfer this vision to people like us to carry it forward. And once again, thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your service.
Thank you.
I'm not sure I did it so well as you do in the military. Excuse me.
No, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And I'm going to end again with this song, so that you see, and this song, I pay tribute to all the members, the Africans, especially all the Africans serving in the U.S. Armed Forces. We appreciate you. You make us proud. You are men of integrity, men of dignity, men of honesty. These are values that I hold close to my heart, and I really value those aspects of you, who you are as human beings serving in the U.S. military. You can also, by the way, before I go, this Friday, there will be a bombshell at Chat Night Africa. I have discovered two kids. One will be connecting from the Republic of South Africa. She is dynamite. And one will be connecting from the Republic of Kenya. You don't want to miss what's coming up on Voices of Africa at Chat Night this coming Friday. The time of broadcast will be announced. Please also, the president is back on. I'm going to take him for his last words. Also visit our YouTube channel. It's called Chat Night Africa. I don't know, he's jumped back out. I'm not sure what's happening with his connection. Anyway, without him, we'll still wrap up the show. We thank him. That is Major Thierry Fouapon. Somehow he's having trouble joining the platform from where he is. I know when you do a live broadcast. So you can check our website, chatnightafrica.net, go to the health tab. You can, from any part of the world, write to the many medical doctors we have working with us at Chat Night, ask any medical questions. They're going to respond to you. There's just so much information you can get. It's a beautiful broadcast website. I mean, you go there, you'll be stunned. You'll be blown away by the sheer beauty, the depth of information that you have there. I remember when I was a soldier. 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 Ladies and gentlemen, that's how we wrap up this week's edition of Voices of Africa at Chat Night. It was nice being with you. My name is Divine Chiamakong. Goodbye. See you Friday.
I'm coming back. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. I'm coming.
Your tune is not coming up.
I'm coming. I'm coming.
Thank you.
To dance. We're gonna dance.